Shabbat Shalom. In this week's Torah portion, Vayechi, we see the death of both Jacob and his son Joseph. Prior to Jacob's death, he gathers all his children and his grandchildren, his entire family, and he blesses each of them individually. The beginning of the blessing is one of the most beautiful pieces of biblical literature that we have. Jacob says, "Hamalach hagoel oti mikol ra yivarechet hane'arim v'yikarei bahem shemi." The angel who redeems me from all evil, from all bad in the world, bless these children and call my name, create my name in them. It's this beautiful moment when Jacob realizes that his life is ending and he comes to the inevitable conclusion that it's through his children, his grandchildren, and the subsequent generations that his name, his legacy, will ultimately be championed and celebrated. It reminds me of a story that my father tells me. In the summer of 1991, I went up to what was then SUNY Binghamton, now Binghamton University, for an orientation. It was a student-only orientation. My father drove me up, and he left the room in which the initial meeting was taking place. He tells of standing at the door, seeing me sitting with nobody to my left or to my right, and wanting so desperately to come in, put his arm around me, and tell me that everything would be okay. He didn't. He resisted the urge. He knew that I would be okay, and he knew that this was a time for me to move on, to leave the house and create my own name. But I think he also understood all of the effort, all of the parenting that he and my mother had put into this moment, that that's what ultimately would prevail and would ensure that I would create my own name. It's this great irony of life. As much as we want to hold on, as much as we want to control everything, ultimately our names, our legacies, are determined by the people that follow us, our children, our grandchildren. And so like Jacob, like my father on that one moment, we just have to trust that everything we've done has created and prepared them for this moment, and that in them, through their great legacy and their great lives, that our names will be carried on. Shabbat Shalom.